But yo,
Let's
welcome to
go, bro,
episode
bro.
0. This is podcast number 3 for us. I am your host, Cameron Knight. Why don't everybody introduce yourselves? Get friendly.
Yo,
Hello.
my name is Antonio. I'm really like a ghost in the internet and whatnot, but I won't be for very long. But yeah, that's me.
Hello, my name is Warren, creator of the humble comic Dead Star. And yes, nice to meet you all.
What's up, guys? My name is Eli. Born and
Fresh
raised in
meat!
Philly. Fresh meat. Yes, my first time on a podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mike. You can find me at Instagram, Mike Tony Design, Miketony Design, and that's where you find all my sketches. Yeah.
That's Big Sexy right there. Alright, well,
Can I unmute myself now?
yeah, you can. Introduce yourself,
Okay.
son.
Hello, guys. How are you doing? I'm Jay, or you can call me One Hero. But I'm called most of the time Mr. Bereaver because I keep it real. Other than that, I write Infinite, and that's it. I'm done.
Alright, everybody, I guess might as well just get into the first topics. We're going to be talking about action and romance. So I guess we can start off with action. This is a question that Jay brought up a little while ago, but I guess as a first kind of topic, how do you guys feel when approaching an action scene? Like, what is something that you guys try to keep in mind? Any tips or anything that you guys kind of do when it comes into approaching an action scene?
I'll start this off. The way I kind of think about action scenes is I try to play them out in my head as if I was going to watch it as an anime. And just try to kind of think about what are the main points that I think the viewer kind of needs to see to get across. So, what technique do I really want them to focus on, or what point in the story is the action relevant, and kind of where do I want that to be the pinnacle? And then I think about, do I want to divide the action up into 2 chapters, or do I want to do something that's kind of a quick 2 or 3 page kind of program? Warren, how about you, man? I know there's a lot of action in Dead Star.
Well, I think you basically covered it. You gotta consider action a more, actions speak louder than words. It's like exposition. You're explaining stuff that's happening, both actions, and what I do, I try to choose which actions are best for explaining a certain type of character. Like, for example, if I'm writing a ninja character, I want to show how agile they are and how strong they are. So I want to show moves that are for that, and I just cover all my bases. Try to get you better understanding of each character fighting or in an action scene.
Kind of like leads into my next question for everybody. What animes or even just particular action scenes in general that you guys really appreciate, or sometimes maybe even go to for reference? Like, if you're kind of like stuck on approaching an action scene, are there any that you guys try to like that might come to mind? Any shows or any scenes in particular that you guys are like, yeah, this really gives me inspiration when it comes to approaching an action scene?
Me, I like watching music videos. They keep
Oh, that's
in
different.
music videos they slice up action scenes and fighting scenes and a whole bunch of other stuff. So
Mhm.
basically, it's a clean palette. Like, it just gives you massive amount of information where you could just pick and play and let your
Mhm.
mind flow and whatnot. That's where I get a lot of my inspirations.
That's
I,
different. I've actually never
I
heard that
would actually
before.
have to agree with Tony on that because the Madara fight, for instance, in Naruto is not the same with listening to a AMV of it versus watching it by itself in the show. Like, the AMV made that whole scene when he first was introduced much more of an epic thing for me. Even like now, overcoming all the noise in the background that I'm trying to talk through, it was very, very overpowering for me. Thank you.
Child friendly.
Shots fired.
Child friendly.
Dude, I actually, like, when I'm thinking of a fighting scene, I haven't really done much of it, but when I'm thinking of like drawing something like an action scene or something, I'll just put on like either some epic music or whatever, or like I'll go back to my I have like a Vagabond, this big Vagabond manga, so I'll just go to that and I'll look at some of the scenes and stuff. I'll just go through like stuff like that.
All right, real quick then, just like a quick top 5. Do you guys have a favorite action scene from any anime? It doesn't have to be anime, any show, period.
Favorite action scene.
Fight.
You're saying a lot. Yeah, you know what's a crazy ass action scene? The action scene in the newest Die Hard, right? Where the dude like basically kills a jet plane with a 16-wheeler off the highway. I think it was like A Good Day to Die or something like that. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite action scene, but that popped into my head immediately as being absolutely ridiculous.
I wouldn't mind saying good ones too. Just to break off the whole anime thing really quick, I really liked when I was a kid the fight scene in Star Wars Episode 3. They were fighting on the magma world and they were trying to avoid the magma by getting all these obstacles and whatnot, and they do the force to each other. It's a really well planned out scene, and it showed the overall emotion that Anakin's slowly going over the dark side of the fighting. So
You were the chosen one.
you're the chosen one. Yeah.
Obviously one of my favorites is from, I think it's Ip Man 2, where he fights like 20, 30 dudes at one time.
Oh my god, dog. That's
Like
Ip Man 1.
Yeah, Ip Man 1. Yo, the build up to that, like kind of just like, cause like Ip Man was like such a docile dude. All he wanted to do was just train and like practice and just be a good martial arts teacher or whatever. And like when his homeboy died, like to see him really be angry,
He flipped.
Man, he flipped. And like I don't know, to me that jump was just, it was super sick.
Yo, he snapped the first dude's arm just straight.
Oh, off.
I'm not fucking around. Give me 3 people.
It's like, yo, keep sending him, man. Like he whooped everybody. Got all the, and he left the bags of rice. Like I don't even think he grabbed the bags of rice.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Wait, one really good thing, because I know we were talking about action scenes earlier and length and whatnot. The newest Superman movie, that final fight scene and how long it was. All right, what are your thoughts on that? Because we were talking about length compared to story in a movie or an anime, so I just wanted to bring that up.
I don't remember it. I have to watch the movie again.
Oh, you
I have to watch the movie again, dude.
That's what happens when you're a Blanca player.
No, I just
You forget
I don't
things.
know. I wasn't really that. Like I don't remember the movie. I watched the movie. I just don't remember it.
Because the reason why I brought it up, it was just like they show you the destruction of Krypton, then all these flashbacks of Clark's showing off his powers or whatever, trying to keep him back, and then his father dies in that dumb way. And then they go to finally like Bayora and whatever the heck the guy's name in that like shopping plaza. Epic fight, destroying property, then him versus Zod. So it was like first half exposition, explanation on what Superman is and his mythos, and then we go into a fight scene taking the other half. So compared to a fight being 15 minutes here and there throughout a movie, it was just a whole half dedicated to action.
I think in Superman, I think that's what people want to see. Because the Superman that came out before that, where all Superman does, where he grabs a man, or he grabs like an asteroid that should have killed him. Because you know Batman has a sliver of Krypton and shows it to the nigga and he passes out. So he grabs an entire like asteroid and throws it in the sky, and that was all the action. And I think people were like, "Yo, Superman is larger than life, so he needs a larger than life fight scene where the destruction radius has to be massive and the timing of the fight has to be super long." You know, I think that's what the people wanted to see. Yeah, and I think that feeds into Warren's point about like figuring out what he wants his characters to display. Like if he's writing for a ninja or if he's writing for whatever, it's like if you're gonna do a fight scene for Superman, it has to be like larger than life. It has to be.
Yeah, it was a long time coming for technology to catch up with the cartoon, showing the scale of Superman fighting. Oh, just wanted
to be honest, the Superman movies before it did not have that much fighting. It didn't do that well. So, yeah, I think think that was the selling point of the whole movie because it wasn't for those fight scenes, it would not
Yeah.
do as well
Yeah,
as it did.
because in the one before that, all he did was he stopped the planet in the plane thing, right? Like he saved the people from the plane or something like that. He stopped the plane or something. I don't know, something like stupid or whatever. Oh yeah, he flew a lot. I remember him flying in the movie
He
like
flew a lot.
like 90% of the time.
One thing,
He called out heavy stuff. You know what I'm saying? He grabbed a bunch of people from getting hit by stuff. There was a fight between him and Zod and his generals. There was the fight between him and like his opposite Superman that Lex Luthor develops. But yeah, you're right. It wasn't like he was fighting throughout the movie. A lot of that was character development.
one thing I do have to say, which
and how he like does not save his dad from the stupid tornado.
oh god, please don't remind me.
Yo, at least you remember it, man. At least it's something stuck in your memory.
No, he just holds up his hand. Really?
Me and Tony were talking about that earlier, man. He saved the dog, and the dog was out.
One thing I did like about Superman Returns, going back to that really quick, and then we're probably gonna talk about later about dynamic angles and whatnot, was the teaser for it, where it was just this epic monologue. Is like, you will be the protector of this planet. It was just hovering over the Earth. The sun was reflecting off his cape. And he was just like listening to everything down there, and then just cut, and then Earth was below him. That was great. I love that. Too bad the movie was horrible. But what can you say?
The fight scenes that I like is Moribito, that anime. There's not a lot of fight scenes in that anime, but every time there's a fight scene, it tells a story. It has a purpose, and I love that. If you guys haven't checked that series out, it's like 12
Please check
episodes,
out
you should check it
Moribito.
out.
Please check out Moribito. It's an amazing thing. Every fight has a weight on the character, and you don't really see that much in anime. Like, for example,
Read Death Star.
no.
Your timing is impeccable, Jay.
But yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. It happens in the first episode, but just check it out, guys. Won't be let down.
But to get back to like the topic of like how long a action scene should be, or what do you think? There's some things that like that creatives or webcomic creators or whatever should avoid when it comes to action scenes, like things that you just shouldn't do when it comes to action scenes.
75 pages.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, you definitely don't want. I feel bad for
If
the
you're
idiot.
gonna do it, you have to have an extreme purpose on why you're doing it, and it has to be instrumental to the story if it's gonna be that long, and to see it executed is a rare sight, and it was executed once, but it was that's something definitely. It has to be instrumental, and it also has to move forward the plot and not just be there. Me personally, I made a mistake with that in my own story. In a chapter with an introduction of a character, I made it longer than it needed to be when the fight had no weight, no value, no nothing. So therefore, that contradicted my own reasons for why I wanted to do something like that in my story anyway. So yeah, just make sure it has some weight, some value, some meaning, something behind it that pushes it forward to exist in the story instead of just throwing it in to throw it in because they took your headband or they took your goggles or they spit in your ramen. Like that holds no weight because you can get over that by buying a new bowl of ramen or buying the new headband. So
agreed.
Fight.
Yeah, go ahead, Warren.
And read Death Star.
Anyways, yeah, fights really need to have a lot of weight to them. It's like in real life. If you get into a fight, that's going to affect you somehow. It's like you can't really just shake off a fight. It's like, all right, on to the next one. No, like at least have a reason. Don't just show off like, hey, I can draw. But yeah, go on.
No, I was just gonna agree with Jay and just saying that one of my pet peeves when it comes like a pet peeve that I have when I'm reading any type of comic or manga is when fights just happen for the heck of happening, because like especially like when you can tell that the artist just really wants to draw an action scene, like he's just like, I need any excuse, like he woke up and I don't know, he didn't have his favorite bowl of cereal and the dog's just pissed at the world and he like fights the first person he sees in the neighborhood, like something stupid, like it has no meaning, man. If it's not pushing the story, then don't do it. It's not necessary.
Yeah. And definitely like one thing to keep it like more interesting too is like again, it has to have a point, it has to have a story for the fight scene, and make a consequence for the fight scene. Like let's say he's fighting a boss or something, but then I don't know, his friend is in the background about to lose or about to die or about to get, something's happening at the same time he's fighting that's going to cause him a consequence after he's done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, but to move on, I guess, with our topics, when it comes to action, one big thing is I think that all of us have had our troubles with, as far as artists or whatever, is drawing action scenes, because a lot of the times, yeah, you don't want to draw an action scene that's boring, same freaking angles, and we've all seen that when they're drawn from the same perspective because they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Or using a lot of exclamation marks.
Exactly. So
All over the place.
when it comes to action scenes, obviously perspective is a big thing. Is there any tips or anything that you guys have come across that have helped you draw action scenes?
I mean, if you're drawing digitally, just do thumbnails, man. Like, do as many thumbnails as you feel like are possible, and then make sure none of your thumbnails look the same. I mean, I do it all day. I did it on the train today, where all I did was, if you look at my screen, I do this thing where I will take a panel and I might create a V in that panel, like saying, okay, this is where my horizon line is, and this is where I'm going to take the perspective from that action point. And then if I don't like that, I'll just go, I'll delete it, and then I'll legit just flip it and try it from a different angle.
Yeah.
And then start going from there again. And you know what? Like, I mean, I know it's a lot harder for traditional, but if you're doing traditional, you have a sketchbook on your free time or whatever it is, just do a couple thumbnails in your sketchbook and get yourself acclimated to trying something different, and then do it again until you feel comfortable with whatever you pick. That's my method.
What about you, Juan? What is like something that goes to your mind as far as when you go to approach drawing an action scene?
Well, one thing I always hear when other people are wanting to draw fight scenes, they always say, oh, like, that's too hard to draw or whatnot. But it's just like, always keep your favorites next to you, like Naruto is a good example for having perspective next to you, and say, like, if they can do extreme angles, so can I. Never be like, oh, that's too hard. Always challenge yourself to always do really extreme angles. If you want to have a character throwing a punch and it magnifies to the hairs on their arm, what's stopping you? Honestly. Just have fun with it. Whatever angle best, like,
accentuate. Look at Leo right now. Leo with the extreme angle.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's something that I had to learn, is that like, don't be lazy, like, as an artist, man. Like, if you're not trying to challenge yourself and making yourself better, you're gonna just keep drawing the same type of way. You're gonna be comfortable all the time. You're gonna do the same things that you've been doing, and you're not gonna grow. And people are gonna notice that, and they're gonna get bored with seeing the exact same angles, the exact same perspective all the time, especially when it comes to an action scene, because they can pick up on that quick. Like, nobody wants to see an action scene from the side. Like, this ain't no side scrolling freaking arcade game. Like, it's like, you need to like show the background. You just show different things going on. So just practice. I think practicing, right? Like what Michael said, by thumbnailing it, you'll have a better idea of what's going on in your head, and you won't feel overwhelmed because you've already kind of mapped out how the fight's gonna go, what angles you want to go at, and then from there you can just kind of. I think from there it becomes a little bit more fun because you're not thinking so much about how you're gonna do it because you've already done that by thumbnailing.
Yeah, and I think too, like, another thing, we're in a profession where honestly sometimes the best thing for us to do is to step out of our comfort zone.
Most definitely.
And so, like, I find myself doing that all the time. Like, I'll crush through like a sketch of a page, and I'm like, oh man, I really like this. But then I'm like, oh, I've done this angle like 3 times already, and I like it because, like, this is what I'm comfortable with. And then sometimes when I break out of it, I tend to get better results and newer things, and my skills tend to increase. So whatever you're doing, even if it's just a normal scene where people are talking, try to break your comfort zone. So if you are trying to do something and it's really hard to do, don't give up on it. Just start looking up different references, start doing more thumbnails so that way you can nail it, because I guarantee you once you figure out that bird's eye angle of two people walking and talking, or two swords clashing, that's gonna be added to your lexicon of action. And now you have something else to add to it, to all of your new stories and everything else. So, I'm struggling over here right now.
and I'm gonna be real. You just used the word. I don't even know what that means, but that just sounded amazing.
Oh, lexicon.
I'm be honest. What's that mean?
Oh yeah. So lexicon is basically, it's almost like your own dictionary. So it adds to your dictionary of attacks and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. So you couldn't just say that, but I mean, I understand.
I mean, lexicon just sounds so sexy, though.
I know it did.
Or someone cue the rainbows, please.
Yo, I was gonna say for fight scenes, I find it really helpful to actually look at the animation keyframes in like your favorite like Kill a Kill or something like that. Fight scenes that you really like, and just look at their keyframes, and you could see like the power and the emotion, because that's what the animators do. That's what they're good at, showing the power and the emotion, and you can learn a lot from that, and you could transfer it to your comic book or manga, and it'll be original because you won't copy it, but you know what angle is the best, most strongest angles and whatnot. Like
And if you
really
can't
good.
find a keyframe,
Yeah, don't be afraid. Like, whatever you're gonna do or whatever idea, just assume it's been done before. But that specific same moment at a different angle, I doubt. Like, not everyone's gonna have the same one. Like, there's so many ways to show a punch or a kick or a grab or what have you. So you gotta have fun.
Another thing too, like I don't know if we mentioned it yet, but in order to even pull off the whole extreme angles and everything, another thing that a lot of like people starting off and even artists who already been drawing for years and have their own series already, one of the things that they recommend a lot is to practice foreshortening, because if you don't know foreshortening, then to pull off those angles is going to be just really difficult. And that's one thing, like me myself, I struggle with a lot with the foreshortening. So practicing that a lot, that'll get you really far with the whole angles and stuff.
Yo, Eli, do you know the coil method?
The what?
Coil method.
Oh, is that where they'll just like sketch out a bunch of coils in different angles, like and going around and stuff?
Yeah. It's basically like, but like what I normally do is when I, like, let's say I draw a character or something like that.
Let's tune into this.
I put this hand here or something. Let me do knuckles or whatnot. I'll sit and say, okay, well, I want this arm to kind of go here, but then I might just try to like say, okay, this is the actual distance. So then I know, okay, my fist is messed up, and I need to actually move it down a little bit, so that way it actually looks a little bit more anatomy correct or something like that. Or I'll start with the main part of the body, and then try to kind of coil out from it, and that actually helps me out a lot. So like if I'm starting something like this and I'm like, man, I want this leg to come more to me, then I'll just start kind of, and you can kind of see it develop a little bit better, opposed to me just making it very flat,
Yeah, exactly, because it gives you like a sense of volume at the same time and like shape. So like once you can like visualize that, it's like easier to draw the foreshortening.
Yeah, and then a lot of that stuff will come into play when you're doing like folds and stuff like that, and that's how you'll be able to really show the viewer, all right, I'm looking from a bottom angle or something like that,
Yeah, exactly.
All right then. Well, I feel like action was covered pretty good, so we're gonna move on to our next topic, which is romance.
Oh shit.
I'm really trying, baby. I got some Marvin Gaye ready. Hey, Mike, when you edit this, man, play some Marvin Gaye as soon as I say that.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So, first, do you guys have any top romance, any shows, comics, anime, period, movies as well?
Oh, okay. I don't want to say
I can say more movies. I'm be honest. I don't read too many romance mangas. I'm just ignorant to them. I don't know any good ones yet. So if you guys have any, y'all can show me. But as far as
Yo,
movies goes, yeah, go ahead, Tony.
I like Princess Jellyfish. That was pretty interesting. Kind of wish it kept on going. And 2 weeks notice. Those are my two favorite. Um, 2 weeks notice is a real life movie, and Jellyfish is anime.
Oh, okay,
My
Yeah.
two
dope,
favorites.
dope. Um,
Um,
go ahead, Warren. I know you got some.
I have a whole bunch of weeaboo animes, but I'm trying to think of some Western movies. Well, first off, romance-wise, Junie Bio season 1 and 2, pretty good examples of romance in my opinion. Budding romance. Um, Great. Lots of slice of life. Like Wolf Children was pretty good. The first few minutes that showed pretty good romance, and the second half. Other than that, The Wind Rises by Hayao Miyazaki. That was pretty interesting. And yeah, those are just a few off the top of my head.
I'll say number one romance, Twilight. Let me stop.
I thought you were. I thought you were serious, bro. Your tone, bro. I thought you were serious. I was literally, you literally about to get kicked out.
For more rate one ways to do romance, please refer to Infinite in the following paraphernalia.
No, please. The one thing to stay away from, like when you're doing romance in general, it's just stay away from Twilight, please. Well, I
Yo,
can't
I
think
have
of a
I
lot
have
of
a
them.
question for you then. Oh, finish talking. I was
Oh
asking.
no, I was gonna say like I've seen a lot of like romance movies, but there was one I can't think of the name of it. But the other one that I like is Fireproof. I don't know if you ever seen Fireproof.
Nah, what is that about?
Yeah, it's it's like a Christian romance movie, but at the same time like it starts off with him. He has problems with his wife, and like he's neglecting her and everything. And he's like yelling at her and all that stuff. But then like as it progresses, he like he learns how to be a better husband and stuff like that, and everything just progresses, and she actually almost leaves him and everything, and then at the end she ends up coming back. He already like changed his whole way, but because she's so far off, like he just has to wait for her now, and then at the end of it she comes back to him, and then they just come together and everything's fine, like it just happy ending. Yeah.
Yo, Eli, I have a question for you, man.
Yeah.
Why do you say stay away from Twilight if Twilight made so much money?
Because Twilight, oh my gosh. One thing I hate, like I can't stand is when they have that whole thing where it's like one girl or two guys is after her, and then the girl is like going like switching between both of them all the time, or a reverse where it's like one guy and two girls, and then they're just switching back and forth all the time. I just don't like that stuff.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean like that aspect I think is kind of is relatable because that does happen, but I think it's just the way it's just the way they execute it, which makes it annoying. I think.
Yeah, exactly. I guess like
the way they showed it obviously is something that you don't really care for.
Yeah.
For me, I don't have a lot of animes. Mine's stuff more like movies. I like this one movie I like is of course if I don't ever watched Love and Basketball, Love Jones. Those are like some top romance movies for me personally because of the writing.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
But other than that, hey, and I don't care. Call it what you want. But The Notebook that one got me. I don't care. That one, I pulled on my heartstrings.
I haven't seen that. No.
Wait, nobody here has ever seen The Notebook.
I don't remember it.
I'm gonna have to see it.
I have.
I'm gonna have to see it now.
Yeah.
From the darkness.
From the darkness. Yeah, Leo talks from the shadows.
Leo will never be just a memory.
Wow. Okay, and as you can see from Leo's screen, this is the way you be romantic. You see the size of those boobs? You see? That's all you need. Show that in the theaters. Show that in your manga, and you're good. Instant sales. You see the booty on that thing? You see it? You see how it's hanging? Anyway, no, the Notebook is about crap. Hey, y'all threw me off because none of y'all seen it. No, the Notebook.
Are you sure it wasn't the nipples?
I know the plot, so go ahead. Yeah, go.
Yeah, no, the movie is about this couple.
Rated PG, guys. Rated PG.
Yeah, it's PG, man. Come on. No, the Notebook's about this couple, and it starts off with they're older at this point, and he constantly visits his wife at a home because she has Alzheimer's and she's completely forgotten who he is and their family and their marriage. But she knew that, like, I guess the beginning stages of her Alzheimer's, that she knew that she was gonna forget eventually. So she wrote down their entire like relationship in a notebook, and he comes there and he reads it to her. And as he reads it to him, they actually show it, and they go back and they actually visualize and show you what happened, how they met.
Is that?
Yeah, that's
sounds like 51st Dates.
Nah, bro, nah. It's way better than that, bro.
Okay.
Nah, bro, don't compare that junk. Nah, man. Hey, that movie. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that movie got me. Okay, that movie got me. It pulled at the heartstrings. It pulled at the heartstrings.
See that?
No, it's actually really, really good.
Now,
but go ahead.
as many of you are probably wondering, oh, why aren't they talking about Titanic and
I hate that movie. That movie's stupid.
all that stuff like that?
No, I'm gonna talk about this for 5 minutes. I'm gonna go on a tangent. I don't care.
No.
I'm gonna go to tangent.
No, I'm just saying.
My dog sat in the freezing water.
He could have just got onto the thing with her.
No,
Man.
it's not even that, because honestly, I think it would have sunk. But there was so much other debris that he could have got on. Oh no, let me not get on this door that just floated by me. I want to be on.
Like, come on, man.
Hey, bump that crap, man. I'd have been like, hey, chick, you better find your own door. Like, this is mine.
Oh gosh.
But the reason why we don't I feel the need not to talk about, because it's just like relationships are more than just we're perfect. You cheat on me, that's it. There are a lot of different kinks to relationships and just romance in general that make it so much more interesting to read. People are always like, oh, she has to choose between him and him and him and him. It's like, no, like everyone has kinks and everyone has stuff they need to learn from relationships. A good Western movie I have to pick for romance-wise, it's not really romance, but I like Forrest Gump. The relationship between Jenny and Forrest, like the way how
I love you, Jenny.
Forrest loved her regardless, no matter what. He went through war and everything.
I mean,
Jenny
she had AIDS.
been the same. Yeah, and she got sick and died in the end. Spoiler alert: that movie's older than all of us. But,
hey, I'm sorry. If you ain't seen it by this time, it's too bad. Like, no, you can type in YouTube and find that
to
junk.
put it in context for you young kids, Forrest Gump is a movie.
Always spoiling movies for me, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. So like, you say Forrest Gump, and the whole thing is like, Jenny played Forrest up through the very end.
That's what's amazing about
I'm
it.
actually on the complete opposite of that end. She knew that the dude was mentally disabled. Basically played the dude because no matter what, she knew that Forrest would always be there to have her back regardless. So not only did she go off, stun off, you know what I'm saying, went to the Black Panthers, stunning off with the Black Panthers, then ended up going, stunting off with these dudes and drugs, catching AIDS, and then living with the dude who was a millionaire and spent her last days in leisure on a farm, not having to want for anything, and then knowing that her kid would be born, not having to want for anything either. Like, and she did anything that she wanted. And he had to basically take care of her and basically when she was sick, not really touch her like that because then she was going to get sick.
Hey, man, you can say what you want, but Jenny was a G, man. She played the game. Like,
that's what I'm
taking notes.
Stuff when you break it down like that, that really hits. It's like, yo, that really sucks. Like, oh, Forrest got what he wanted in the end, but Jenny got what she wanted her whole life, man. Forrest had to work, and Jenny didn't have to do anything. And you could break it down to like, oh, women don't have to work much and all that stuff and break it down all you want. But it's just like stuff that has stuff like that. try to break down a relationship.
But then you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Did Forrest Gump actually get what he wanted? Because
Not at all.
Jenny ends up dying, and he didn't want Jenny to die. And if Jenny respected him and took him from the very beginning, none of that would have happened. None of that would. She wouldn't have gotten sick. She wouldn't have been getting beat by the other dude that she was dating with the drugs. Like, she wouldn't have had to go through all that other stuff. She wanted to go have her fun and then play this dude. And
Yeah,
then
she was a stripper too.
yeah, he was left with his son. He didn't get a chance to raise his son in the very beginning, and he had to watch the woman he loved die based on her past transgressions of all the crazy shit.
But Michael, do you think Forrest would have done the same things if Jenny didn't accepted him right off the bat?
Wait, hold on one second. Say that again.
Do you think Forrest would have done all the things he would have done in the movie if Jenny would have accepted him right off the bat?
I mean, well, no. I mean, obviously they did that to show progression in the movie. Like,
Plot device.
yeah.
So
I mean, they had to have a reason why that he went. You know, he joined the army and he freaking ran for no reason and all that crap. So yeah, that's the reason. I mean, they're just showing how far he went for her.
Regardless whether Forrest got what he wanted in the end, he still became like through all the achievements, and he loved Jenny, and he didn't get what he wanted. Jesus, he can go on forever. But yeah.
But anyway, to move on the topic though.
Yeah, we'll be on it forever, dude.
There's another one.
You guys have tips. Actually, I want to ask Jay this because I'm not gonna spoil your story whatsoever, but I know you got something in the works. But what tips do you have when it comes to that you feel that you've discovered when it comes to writing a romance?
Writing a romance?
Yeah.
I think the key to the romance one actually goes into the old tool of writing in general, which is finding the theme, finding the message that you want to convey with it. Like, for instance, with the story that I have in mind, I mean, even the title kind of states the theme of it. It's about me being a hopeless romantic, so it's called Love Stone. So you think about the fact that when you're in love with somebody, it's like your stone, like it's a high, like you don't think of anything else. Like that's what it is. When you find it, you're intoxicated behind it. You're in it. It's in it. It's gonna surround you, engulf you, and immerse yourself in it. But it's also more of a play on words. But I think romance really, it depends on really what you want to convey with romance, because it can be the fairy tale romance, it could be realistic romance, and fairy tale romance is that it has a happy ending. Realistic romance means that it could have you on the edge of your seat, not knowing if it's going to go good or if it's going to go bad. Forrest Gump, for example, evidently it ended bad. Castaway, it ended bad. Ghost, it ended bad. But then you've got all the Disney movies. It's all about
Lion King, bro.
That wasn't about romance.
Man, it had some romance in it though.
But that means if Nala would have fucking died, then yes. Excuse my language.
There's another one I was gonna say. Probably like not your typical like what you would think where romance comes into play, but Wall-E actually.
Wall-E was a really good love story, actually.
Yeah,
no, Jay wasn't. My fault, not to stop anybody, but Jay, I know Jay wasn't done talking. But go ahead.
No, their names are Jay too.
J2 and J3. Go ahead, Jay.
Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
If you don't finish,
I'm not being sarcastic. I was saying like if they had something to share, please go ahead.
I already did. I said Wall-E.
I was gonna. My last one, I was gonna top off with that. That's a podcast favorite of all of us in here, Scott Pilgrim.
Of course, man.
So you can take romance and you can spin it around and too. I mean.
Yeah, like that's the only thing I think is just like, what are some interesting ways that you guys think that you could avoid the typical kind of like just plot lines of romance films? I mean, obviously it's a romance. People know that when they get into it, that okay, if it's romance, okay, guy, girl, whatever, trying to get the girl trying to get the guy. But obviously Scott Pilgrim did a completely different take on that. Which I think it added so many different elements. It didn't feel just like a romance. It felt like it was a combination of romance, action, comedy, all of those things. So, what do you guys feel like there are ways to make a romance comic interesting and not just the cliche crap that we see all the time?
Well, I have nothing to add on that. I'm still struggling with that myself.
Love can be shown in many different ways other than the cliche, I'm gonna show up with flowers, I'm gonna protect you or whatnot. Like with Forrest Gump or whatever, I'm sorry to keep going back to that, but it was a pretty good example. It was just like bettering yourself, learning to love yourself before you feel that you're ready to be in a relationship with someone you love, having them work on themselves first, and like when they get to that point, or have them interact with each other in just normal ways, like having them help each other get out of a situation or whatnot, then they gradually build up a relationship and be like, oh, should we be in a relationship or not? Like have the audience think,
Hey, but quick question, actually, real what are like some like cliches in like I guess like anime romances and like anime, like what are cliches like in their romances? Like I don't watch them,
Oh,
so like
dude.
what are like typical storylines for them?
Oh
It's
God.
sort of the same thing. It's almost the same thing like what I mentioned with Twilight. In a lot of like manga, is the whole like one girl, two guys, or two guys, one girl, and they're like
Oh,
switching
really?
Well,
between.
they already
That's one
have it.
cliche.
The tsundere, the yandere, and
Yeah,
the
the
third
threesome,
one.
the threesome.
Yeah, the tsundere, it's like, I don't like you, idiot, and then she actually likes him. The
Yeah,
yandere,
that's really heavy in a
crazy
lot
in
of
love
anime.
with you. The third one, I don't know. I'm sorry, any weeaboos listening. I mean, any anime fans will attack me afterwards. But it's just like the whole. Oh, I'm not gonna admit my feelings to you until like the very end, and I'm just gonna be there as a plot device for your love, like Naruto and Hinata. I don't want to go into that too much, but yeah, it's just stuff like that. It's just like I'm here blushing at your every move, and then hopefully I'll confess to you later on, then we'll kiss, and then the end will be at the bottom right of the page. And it's like, wow. So
Wow.
rather than just having them on the side, having them do stuff to really show what they are as a character, rather than just being a love interest, freaking like Bakuman was a pretty good example of like they both following their dreams and whatnot, and like rather than just showing his girlfriend or wife to be just on the side blushing at him, she was getting her stuff done. She was being a
Yeah.
voice actress while he was doing his own manga thing, until they eventually got married in the end.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
like
another
Bakuman for that reason myself. Is that
yeah,
go for like go get my hustle on, go get some money in my pocket, and then hey man, if you doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. We can get we got plenty of time.
exactly.
That's not
Yeah,
really like
that's not common.
it's not really like Naruto type though, because he actually confessed like early in, and then the rest of it went after that.
They
Oh, okay.
started off with that, and then they let them bettering themselves like be the
Exactly.
whole
Yeah.
rest of the series rather than
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, but Naruto never got the girl he loved. And then she claimed to love Naruto and then never gave Naruto a chance. And then she ended up being with the dude that she chased around who didn't really care that much. He just didn't want to be by himself. And then Naruto took the girl that was like, all right, well, at least she's willing to take a literal bullet for me. So, I'll just be with her. Like the way their families and the whole love interest turned out, I think was completely horrible.
why did Naruto like Sakura? She was just cute.
I think he just thought she was cute. But
They
then
never explained it. They just said it was a physical attraction from the get go.
Okay.
but then
So
you look and
Wait. So it's only straight. So Naruto technically really doesn't care for Hinata that much.
No way, didn't
He
I
fucking confessed her
remember
love and then
Naruto
Pain
showing.
fucking killed the shit out of her, and he didn't say a word, and they never went back to it because Masashi doesn't know how to fucking write romance. Sorry again.
Did it? Didn't Naruto show interest in Hinata like a couple times though?
Yeah, why was he so pissed that?
All he said was, "You're cool. There need to be more people like you, and I like people like you." He didn't never said, "I like you" or "I love you." And she's like, "Naruto, I love you. Watch me die for you." As Pain destroyed her life, and then it never went back to that at all. And then it went to Sakura chasing Sasuke through the snow.
yeah,
Okay.
Naruto. Don't get me wrong. Naruto did have its good points, like Michael said. The way Sakura was just like, you know what? I'll just sell for Naruto. Naruto, I love you. And then Naruto just shutting her down, and
Shit, swerve.
that was pretty good. But it's just like I understand putting romance on the back burner, like but when you're trying to tease it that much and all that stuff, it was kind of a bit of a letdown. It felt like I said when I first read it, a DeviantArt fan fiction in the end. Like, oh, let's see if your pairing got the one. Like Choji ended up with their Sai and Ino. Like what? So it happens, but but
I don't think there was any rhyme to reason. Like I just felt like it was coming to an end, and he knew that he couldn't put Sakura and Naruto together because Sakura was still on Sasuke's jock, and he was just like, man, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And he was like, you know what? If I just throw people together, regardless, people are going to be interested in seeing who's with who. But there was no rhyme to reason. There was no real interest. I mean, Shikamaru and got her sister. There was actually foreshadowing there in a couple of episodes where like she started to look at Shikamaru and like kind of have feelings, and Shikamaru started blushing when he was looking at her. So there was this whole dynamic where I think it was like as this whole ninja alliance was starting or whatever, she started to get a lot of respect for him, and he could kind of see like what he liked in her. I think that was the only relationship that was really foreshadowed that people actually ended up being together. There was no other relationship that was foreshadowed like that. And even Rock Lee wanted Sakura and ended up not getting her either. I don't even remember who he was with.
it's
10
supposedly 10-10 apparently, but we don't know yet.
Yeah, but like
it was Guy Sensei.
One, I don't wanna bring up Shampoo, but I kind of do.
Bring it. I don't care.
The romance aspect we'll hit it really quick.
It was
all right?
okay.
But like the whole thing with do you guys feel that Fu liked Mugen and Jean?
Yep.
All right.
For different aspects, I think it was just like one fit. Again, like I like how they did that. I mean, granted, I'm not too educated on romance and anime and manga and stuff, but I did like how they approached the romantic theme of that she was attracted to both of them because they both were a different part of her personality. Like
she would have ended up with Jean, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably because he just was just like I think because that's who she liked at first.
That's what I like too. It's like,
and then she started to appreciate Mugen more at the end.
Letting you guess. And probably my favorite pairing in Shampoo is Yatsuha and Mugen, like the ninja. And she says, "Oh, that man's gonna be my husband one day."
Oh my god,
like that.
It just ends, bro. Like you think the whole time, like, who is this chick? Like, are they ever gonna get back together? Because like she, that episode, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, so that was interesting, and there like, and then there's stuff like Sailor Moon, like that is totally based off that I feel physical attraction. Like, why does Serena or Usagi, Japanese version, like Tuxedo Mask so much? And it's like physical, or they were married in a past life, and everything, and it's just like I feel there's no really backing towards it. It's just romance, just without any logic, and people love that. Like people love the fantasy stuff. Like
okay, so
I think something you could do to make romance stories more exciting and more different is focusing on the negative part of the personality, not making it, oh, he's perfect, oh, he's so perfect, this is perfect. More like his faults and all the females' faults and whatnot, and loving them for for their faults. I think that'll make a more interesting love story overall.
I think a lot of it is just kind of like write what you know, man. Right from experiences that you might have had. I mean, granted, don't write your freaking life story or whatever, but make it interesting. Don't make it the typical thing. What kind of leads into like my next kind of like question and I guess not topic, but how do you make a romantic manga or comic visually interesting? Because I would think it's just talking. Like, how do you make that interesting to look at and to want to read constantly?
Emotions.
You can tell it from the point of view of inside your head. Like, let's be real. Like, there's been a time in high school where you like a girl or vice versa, and like you just feel like yourself sink into this whole like dream-like escapade or whatnot, and it's just like a whole bunch of stuff flowing around in these dreams you have about them and daydreams. Like you can tell from that point of view rather than just the literal thing, because on a deeper level, they're thinking about it way more on a more deeper scale than it looks on the outside.
Yeah,
So
like kind of like
Mhm.
in Scott Pilgrim when he has that little what is it like a dream or like a vision of her freaking rollerblading or
Yeah.
like rollerblading around him like when he's in the desert or whatever, and then the next moment he sees her at the party or whatever. And he's like, oh, it's a girl from my dream or whatever. But how they actually showed it, he didn't actually come in a room and go, hey, I had a dream about a girl rollerblading when I was in the desert or something. But the fact that they actually showed that was pretty dope. So yeah, coming from like an aspect like that could definitely make it more interesting, I think.
Yeah, and when he broke up with Knives, he was like, I think we should, and then the screen starts going to black, break up and stuff, and it just goes to black, and she's like, oh, and it's just like, wow, yep, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. Or breaking up and he can do a dramatic exit just like he did in Scott Pilgrim when she's like, oh yeah, where's Scott at? He's like, oh, he just left, and he jumps out the window and grabs his coat. Like, yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
you can definitely exaggerate it. I mean, it's comics,
Yeah.
man. You
I
don't,
think that I would like that more if it's exaggerated.
yeah, and yeah, there are people who like down to earth stuff and all that, but in my opinion, I prefer the exaggerated stuff.
That's what Love Stone would be anyway, would be an over exaggeration of it. That's pretty much why I wanted to do it in the first place, was to take my imagination and put the spin on it with the romance side of things. So I guess that would be my twist or spin to it.
Definitely.
It's how I over exaggerate my mementos of romance on certain situations.
It's like it's like a standard now. Like Dragon Ball Z set the standard of high intense fight scenes. Like Scott Pilgrim, I felt like kind of set the standard for like how far love stories can be and how exciting they can be.
Absolutely what Warren said. DBZ was, this is what wrestling would be like on adrenaline.
Yeah. So why can't love be like that? You know, like love basically hits your adrenaline on a scientific level.
Like, that's what I'm saying. You feel those emotions anyway. Like people feel like that. It's not like it's an uncommon thing. Like where oh man, nobody actually thinks that way. Like yeah, you do. Like when you see that girl or when you feel like her, or whatever, vice versa. Like girl sees that guy. Like they feel these crazy emotions, heart pounding, beating out their chest. Like that would be dope to actually visually show that.
If you want to have an exercise, kids, and just exercise your mind on an interaction between two people like each other, how about you just experiment them being in a normally boring situation to read and try and make it interesting? Like two people sitting in a coffee shop that like each other, and just see what angles you can play with or go into each character's head to try to make it interesting. You know, just
yeah. Like what if those two people had?
Yeah, go ahead, Jay. I think he muted himself. Go ahead, Jay.
My internet's messing up. I thought you had stopped talking. Sorry.
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay.
Go ahead, man.
Oh no, I thought Jay was gonna say something. That's why I paused.
Well, I was gonna say, just like Warren said, like if you over exaggerate it, like you could even bring in superpowers at that point. Like what if they both were, they had new telekinesis and they were using different things like that to try to get the other person's attention or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Like just a different angle on it. It's a different twist.
Yeah.
And again, it's just kind of like what I think what Mike said earlier, just stepping out of the comfort zone and stepping out of like what you're normally seeing. I think to tell again, like to tell a new story, don't just go off of what you're comfortable watching and seeing what you like, because all you're gonna do is produce a carbon copy of whatever you like so much. So I think about watching crazy movies that you probably have never seen before, wouldn't even think about watching. Watch those, watch TV shows that you're not used to or you haven't seen before, just something different, because it might give you an idea to bring or a new aspect to bring to whatever you're doing, so that it's a fresh kind of take on the comic or whatever.
Exactly. There is not a wall or a specific list of rules that you have to go in before portraying action and romance. Like, go in and just tell what you want to tell. Have fun. Like, with the creator of Scott Pilgrim, he just went in and told what he's passionate about, video game references and all of that and whatnot. And look at how that turned out. We felt his passion in the story, and it was
Definitely.
fun for us to read. Probably as fun for him to write.
He actually has another book that I have, and I read it, and it's awesome. It's a book called Seconds, and it's a new and it's another like romantic comedy, and obviously I'm not gonna spoil it, but just like all it is about this girl who deals with these life problems, and they build up, and one day this like witch comes to her and gives her this like notebook that she's able to. What she's able to do is every day she's able to write in that notebook whatever problem that she had and whatever regret that she like had. Like say for example, she was late to work. She could write in there, man, I wish I wasn't late to work. And then that next day, that never happened. She was never late to work. And it kind of just talks about how like that power kind of spirals out of control. But it's a great book, and I recommend anybody to read it. And it's just bringing a new fresh take on romance.
What if somebody did something like Romeo and Juliet, where the parents forbid them from relationships, but they were talking to each other through the internet, through Skype or something?
Exactly. A modern take on it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who you Instagramming? Like, who you kicking right now? It's 12 o'clock.
That smells like Deathstart.
From the darkness, Leo Sugar.
The chopping block, boys.
You know what I'm saying? He had to get his AK in one time.
But
Yeah.
yes, we are at 11, 12.
Yeah, I think that was a good way to finish it off, guys. So let's end this up. This is episode 0 podcast. This is the end of episode 3. I am your host, Cameron Knight. You can find me on my Instagram, CKnight, or my other Instagram dedicated to one of my comic adventures, which is CKnight Comics, and everybody else.
Yes. Yep, it's me, Warren, signing off. You can find me on Facebook at The Road to PDS, the Facebook page, or you can look up Dead Star and Tapastic, as these fellows so honorably mentioned so many bereaving times. Yep.
Alright, this is Eli. You can find me on YouTube, Deviantart, Facebook as Eli D. Camacho. You can find me on Instagram as Eli_stay focused. And Twitter as Eli D. Camacho, pretty much.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mike again, and you can find a lot of my work at on Instagram. Instagram handle is Mike Tony Design, MikeTony Design, and I will be putting up my website pretty soon, which will have some chapters of Duelist on it. So, peace.
Oh, dudes.
Tony?
Yeah, my name is Antonio, and I'm the ghost, so you cannot find me anywhere. But it's
Error
strange.
Full Error 91 on DeviantArt.com.
Gotcha.
I don't know who 91 is, but okay.
They can find you on Facebook.
No, they can't.
Okay. Leo's trapped in his artwork right now.
Okay.
Jay, I don't know if Jay already.
Leo, outro now, do it.
Tell everybody where they can find you, Leo.
Wait, what's yeah, I'm Leo. I approve this message. But yeah, you can find my comic calendars on Saturday AM / Saturday Plus. It's really fun. I'm Cuban, always bringing the fun to the group. So yeah, just check that out, and that's about it.
Okay, I think that's everybody.
Leonardo Mass up, everybody.
Today's podcast was
Jay,
brought to you by
did Jay do it?
No, I didn't. It's okay though.
Hey, no, hey. I said give your outro, man. Hurry up.
This is Jay, the writer, not the artist, because I don't draw. I've tried to draw, and yeah, it does not work the way it needs to for what I want. And I'm the writer of Infinite the Journey, which you can find on www.infinitethejourney.com. And that has links to all the other sites where you can follow me and Infinite.
All right, everybody.
Death Star.